I hope with this next measure, Mr. President, we can also come up with a healthy compromise that will make everybody happy, and particularly those in the boxing and combat sports. May we recognize, Mr. President, our dear Pambansang Kamao, si Senator Manny Pacquiao, to sponsor and to interpret our distinguished colleague, a fellow athlete as well, no other than Senator Pia S. Cayatano.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Manny Pacquiao is recognized, and Senator Pia Cayetano.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're ready when the sponsor is ready. God bless you, Manny. God bless you. God bless us. Wisdom,
Amen.
compassion. Amen. So hindi ko kaya with all due humility as a mother na pondohan ang isang sports office specific to one sport only. Tapos itong ibang offices na ilalagay ang mga batang nasa kalye at mahanapan sila ng bahay, hindi pa natin napopondohan din. And again, the other example I gave was the health expenses and the education expenses. So I rest my case on that point, Mr. President, because
Thank you, Mr. President.
unless we can pinpoint that GAB is unable to perform its function, then we should not be entertaining a bill that is creating a similar agency that will duplicate functions. Even if we say the goal is to add certain functions, then with all due respect, I would like and I would love to, and I am offering my services to His Honor, to work with him, at least for the time being during this pandemic, to be responsible during the time of this pandemic, to create a fund within GAB and for the amateurs, which I think is the primary concern of His Honor. I think I hope His Honor would be willing to consider that.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, unang-una, this bill is already approved in the last Congress, 17th Congress. Hindi ito new, Mr. President. Hindi ito tiniming sa dahil sa pandemya, ganyan. Existing na po ito, na-approve na po ito nung 17th Congress po, nabalik dito kasi hindi pa na-approve sa lower house. At pangalawa po, kung budget ang pag-uusapan natin, alam naman natin siguro kung ang budget dyan, kung pwede nating siyempre, alam natin kung magpaano maglaan ng budget dito. Hindi naman ito, it can be less than 100 or less than the budget of the GAB. Yun po ang point dito. Pero, and also, to clarify po, kasi I thought from the beginning of the interpretation of this measure, I thought it's the good lady from Taguig. It's already, he will ask question for a clarificatory question. But I think this is not my understanding right now, correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding right now is this is not a clarificatory question, this is a opposing the bill. Opposing the bill. So that's my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, thank you for His Honor's clarificatory question. If my interrogation or interpellation is clarificatory or ano yung sinabi niya, opposing. If His Honor will recall from the start, I always would begin by please educate me. I have always been collaborative, and again, I'm very proud to have worked with amazing mentors who trained me. Again, I will mention our minority floor leader, Senator Drilon. Maiiyak ako because some of my mentors have passed away. Senator Flavier, Senator Joker Arroyo, Senator Nene Pimentel, Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago, and Senator Angara. And what I've learned from them is that no matter how beautiful our concept and idea is, there is collective wisdom. We have so much to gain when we work together. And my seatmate here who has moved farther than me, I don't know kung nilalayuan niya ako, si Senator Gatchalian, is witness to the fact, if you listen to his amendments, I think 75% of the amendments that he read on the floor were mine. Hindi sa magaling ho ako, but it's because I've also had experience working in that field. And so, it is not true that I simply want to oppose. I have started always by saying, please educate me. Please enlighten me. So definitely ho, clarificatory yun. Ngayon, kung hindi nyo nasasagot ang tanong ko, then that is the time I will conclude and that is the time you will hear me say, well, with all due respect, I disagree. With all due respect, ito naman ang opinion ko. I hope you would consider it because hindi nyo ho nasagot yung tanong ko. So going back to the questions on the powers of God, bakit ho natin hindi ma-amend yun? I do not understand why His Honor is not amenable to amending the powers of GAB so that they can be more responsive to the needs that he sees has to be addressed. It is irresponsible for us to put in fundings for a new agency when we cannot even say that this other agency is not performing their job well. We did not even give them that mandate.
Mr. President,
So that is
may I
the proper
interrupt?
way to go. And if I may just finish before I give the floor back to His Honor, His Honor said that he has been answering this question since the 17th Congress. Let me point out two very important facts. I was not a member of the Senate in the 17th Congress. And yes, I have stood up so many times defending a bill and answer repeatedly questions that my colleagues ask because they want to understand it from their perspective. Kahit na 10 beses ko na sinagot yon sa ibang kasamahan natin. I tried to make it easier by studying the interpellation in the 17th Congress para maintindihan ko din kung anong napag-usapan doon. And I will pinpoint, my dear sponsor, that there are certain provisions that are new in this version that you filed in the 18th Congress that were not present in the version in the 17th Congress. So you cannot say, His Honor cannot tell us that it is the same and basahin ko na lang yung dati, iba ng bill to eh. Kahit basahin ko yung dati, may mga bagong provision to. On the creation, the commission is directly under the administrative supervision of the Office of the President in this 18th Congress. Yung bill niya said has a different kind of wording under the 17th Congress. The composition of the members are different. There are exemptions from taxes and fees in the 18th Congress that are not present in the 17th Congress. There are compensations of professional boxing and combat sports that are present in the 18th Congress that are not present in the 17th Congress. I can go on and on about the difference, but please understand that I studied this measure. So, kaya ko lang naman tinatanong, dahil may pinagkaiba naman po yung 17 and 18.
I understand, Mr. President. Thank you. Mr. President, you said that the clarificatory question that you asked, I did not answer. May I know, Mr. President, what question that I did not answer? What question you raised that I did not answer?
Why not?
I just want to clarify, Mr. President, because I want to answer
I'm happy.
as much as possible all questions.
Yes.
But one by one lang kasi when you ask questions, talagang parang sampo, Mr. President. So, isa-isa lang muna. Wag yung combination mo na suntok. Pa-jab-jab lang muna. May I ask
Sanay din po tayo sa combination punches. Nanonood din tayo ng laro niyo eh. Hindi, joke lang.
May I ask what question that I did not answer, Mr. President? Just to clarify.
Yes, Mr. President, straight to the point, yung why is His Honor creating a new commission when instead without exploring, or let me phrase it a different way, would His Honor be open to exploring, at least for the time being, at least during the time of this pandemic, the option of amending the powers of GAB to address some concerns that he has mentioned, and specifically is the welfare of the boxers that he said hindi na aasikaso.
Okay, Mr. President.
Why not amend
Sir.
GAB instead of creating a 100 million agency?
Okay, Mr. President. Kasi pag mahaba na, makalimutan, hindi ko naman, pasagutin ko lang isa-isa, Mr. President. Okay, this, I will say it again, this bill was proposed before pandemic, Mr. President. Now, hindi ito itiniming sa pandemic. Kumbaga, approved na ito nung last Congress. Wala po kayo dito nung last Congress, Mr. President. At pangalawa, Mr. President, just to answer all your question para walang masabi na hindi ko sinagot yung question mo, Mr. President. At pangalawa, the function of GAB is different function from this PBC EC, Mr. President. Magkakaiba po. Like I said, in-explain ko na ano yung function. GAB is only regulatory board, regulatory and supervise giving license. But the function of the commission that I propose this measure is to look and help the welfare of athletes hanggang sa pagretiro nila. Yun po ang function nito, kaya magkakaiba po talaga. Especially giving SSS, PhilHealth, parang pension sa kanila. Ito po yung magiging function ng commission na ito. So magkakaiba po talaga, hindi po magkapareho. Kasi ang GAB magbigay lang ng license, medical, mag-regulate lang, supervise, and then tapa na. Pagka-retiro mo, wala na silang pakialam. Which is, I already witnessed that for the past 25 years in my career, na ang dami kong mga kasama na wala. Inutil na doon sa inutil, naghihingi ng tulong, naglilimos na lang. Wala nang which is kung nandito itong commission na ito, hindi mapapabayaan kasi nakakahiya eh. Nagdala sila, nagwagayway sila ng bansa natin, flag natin sa ibang bansa, nagbigay sila ng honor sa bansa natin tapos napabayaan natin, nandyan sa kalye, natutulog, nanghingi ng pera, nanghingi ng pagkain. Pangit naman yon na nagbigay ng pangalan sa ating bansa tapos nakikita natin yung tao na nagbigay ng pangalan sa ating bansa, napabayaan natin. The mission of this commission is to look their welfare, Mr. President. Naalagaan sila na hanggang sa pagtanda nila, pag-retire nila, mayroon nang nagtututok na commission. And I hope that the good leader from Taguig will understand of my explanation. Hindi ko nasagot yung mga tanong mo. I will answer all those questions in terms of backing this mission, Mr. President. Thank you.
Mr. President, thank you for that explanation, but I do not understand the response that this bill was prepared before the pandemic. So what does that mean? What does that mean? What is the effect of that?
Sorry, Mr. President. Ang ibig sabihin, Mr. President, hindi ito na tiniming sa pandemya. Kumbaga po, existing na itong bill na ito, approved na po ito bago pa po nagpandemya. Yun po ang pinaka-point doon sa statement ko po, sa answer ko.
Yes, Mr. President, but we are living in the now, and we must be responsible and responsive to what our situation is now. So in the bill that we passed, the CREATE bill that we passed, yung inabot ng pandemic, before the pandemic, that was sitira. And the reduction of the corporate income tax was 1% per year. But because of the pandemic, we changed the bill. We changed the bill because we needed an immediate response to help the people and to help businesses. So we immediately decreased the income tax, the corporate income tax by 5% instead of 1% per year. So it is our duty as lawmakers to be the one to adjust. If we will make give the reason that dati pa to, wala pang pandemic noon, then we are not being responsive to the needs of our people. If there is a natural calamity, we pull out funding and we put it in that area that needs assistance for the calamity. Natural ho yun. So the reason I bring this up is because the timing to support the creation of offices. Hindi ito pondo, the funding that His Honor is asking for will not even go directly to the athletes. This is for the creation of offices. And when I say His Honor does not answer the question, I do not understand why there has to be a new office when GAB has regional offices. And hindi po nyo na ipaliwanag kung ano yung hindi nagagawa ng GAB na dapat nilang gawin. Now, if it is not in their mandate, then why not amend it? That is the easiest thing to do to save money. That is what I'm saying. Is His
Okay.
Honor amenable
Mr.
to that?
President,
Let
may-
us amend it. Let us do their job. Bantayan nyo ho ng 1 taon, 2 taon. Kung hindi nila nagawa, mauna akong mag-support sa inyo. Kasi syempre gusto ko na alagaan yung athletes natin.
Mr. President,
Gusto ko yun.
may I interrupt through Mr. President to interrupt. Mr. President, we can open the budget requirements for this bill, Mr. President. Pwedeng bigyan ng 500,000, 200,000. I'm sure siguro pwede na siguro 'yan kung 'yan ang 1 million, okay lang 2 million, wala pong problema diyan. Wala po akong problema diyan as long as ma-establish itong Philippine boxing. No problem with the concern. The main concern of the good lady from Taguig is the budget. I have no question with that. Pwedeng 200,000, pwedeng 500,000. I'm sure siguro maintindihan na po yan ng ating mahal na kasama from Taguig. At,
Baka po pwede mag-submit ang ating sponsor ng budget proposal for this kasi kung 200,000 lang yan,
No.
I'm sure between myself and His Honor, pwede na tayong mag-donate yan para private fund na lang itong boxing. I will come up with the 100, sa inyo na yung 100. Huwag na natin gawing public kasi like I said, these are boxing commissions are private in many countries because I do not know how you will come up with your offices of Luzon, Visayas,
Yeah.
Mindanao which you put on record with 200,000. So baka ipasa natin yan, tapos sabihin ng mga tao, o nasa na yung nasa na yung pinangako nyo na may mga opisina, binanggit nyo yan. Nasa na yung welfare fund, 200,000 lang yan. So ako naman po, in the same way that we scrutinize the budget that we are available to provide for health, that's also what I'm doing, Mr. President, because I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver dahil mahal ko din ang athletes katulad ninyo.
sige po, sorry to interrupt po, Mr. President. Ito po para matapos na. I-open lang po natin. Bahala na po yung DBM. Kung 100,000 ibigay, 200,000, 500,000.
Hindi lalagyan ng
Hindi na lalagyan ng ano doon, ng budget requirements. Ngayon, ay pinasa tapos binigyan na ng budget ng 100,000 ng DBM, kung pag-start ng Philippine Boxing, sa abot ng aking makakaya, kahit sarili kong pera, pwede kong mag-establish, magtayo para matulungan ko lang yung Philippine Boxing. Gastusin ko yung pera ko, magtayo ako sa Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao para magkaroon ng opisina ang ating Philippine Boxing Commission. Yan po, Mr. President, to shorten the discussion about the budget. I think it's not gonna be a problem anymore. The budget, it's prerogative of the DBM to put up a budget. Kung DBM magbigay ng 100,000, and then so be it. I can help the commission to establish a office ni Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Thank you, Mr. President.
Maganda ho yung idea na binring up nyo on private funding, Mr. President. And like I said, sasamahan ko po kayo, mangolekta ho tayo dito sa mga kaibigan namin. Pare-pareho nyo namang fans yan. Nakatingin ho si Sherwin. Masama na tingin sa akin dahil sisingilin po natin ng donation yan. I think this is the best direction. Kasi po, sa pagkaalam ko sa DBM, unfunded laws are not favored. Hindi ho mangyayari yan na bibigyan lang kayo ng 100 or 200,000 ng DBM because they will study the measure and they will give you an amount if they can afford it that is commensurate to the objectives and the mandate of the law. And that is why, Mr. President, I will put on record that DBM in their letter dated March 17, 2021, recommended that the bills should be studied further and to ensure that the functions of the Philippine Boxing Commission will not duplicate and overlap with GAB and PSC. Right now, it is a duplication. Ang mangyayari kasi, you will create offices that will basically be performing maybe 50 to 75 to 90% of the same job that Gab is performing for the other professional athletes. That's why sabi niya, be sure na there is no duplication. Meron mo talagang duplication because His Honor the Boxing Commission will also be regulating. Is that not correct? Meron din regulatory functions ang Boxing Commission na ini-envision ninyo?
Mr. President, to answer that question, Mr. President, yung bill na ito, Mr. President, yung 2077, Mr. President, ay based on the ito, Mr. President, sa sulat ng DBM, sinunod lang natin sa yung sulat ng DBM, almost dito sa sulat ng DBM, at saka in-insert po natin yung section 11 ng suggestion ng DBM. In-insert po natin yung section 11 na galing po sa DBM. Thank you po, Mr. President. Yun po, kahit magbigay ang DBM ng 100,000, ako tutulungan ko mag-put up ng offices yung Philippine Boxing. Basta kaya ko, sa bulsa ko.
If I'm not
Nandiyan
mistaken,
naman si Senator Swing Gatsalan, tutulong
If I'm
naman yan,
not
saka si
mis- if
brother
I'm not
brother ko.
if I'm not mistaken, this is the same issue that we took up during the health bills. That this insertion of DBM, the provision that says subject to the approval of DBM, is basically relinquishing our power to DBM. This is something that the Senate, no less than the Senate President and the Minority Floor Leader, correct me if I'm wrong, sirs, brought up yesterday. So, ayaw natin yung proposal ng DBM kasi nagpasa pa tayo, sila lang pala. So, I don't know if any of his honors want to add to that discussion, but that's what I recall, no? As a body, I think we frown upon that provision. And I just put on the record the Minority Floor Leader is nodding his head. So, on that note, again, I repeat that the letter of DBM said that to study the bill further and to take note of the duplication of efforts. And that is why I am taking time on this bill, because I will devote so much of my time and energy for the athletes, as his honor is also. That's why I admire his honor so much for his passion in fighting for this group of athletes. But I go back and I reiterate my concerns, and his honor was asking what else did he not answer. To my satisfaction, he was not able to answer that there is no violation of the Constitution in terms of equal protection of the laws, because the classification has to be valid, and because what we seek to classify are athletes that are injured. It is my humble position that the data shows us that there are many other sports that athletes are involved in that also create injuries, that if we want as a state to be responsible for that, then we should also cover them. I have not seen any explanation that satisfies my in all humility, my legal mind on that constitutional issue, Mr. President. And I just want to include for the record that one of the combat sports, Muay Thai Association of the Philippines, is against the creation of the Boxing Commission, with the main reason that it is already it would be a duplication of the function of GAB. So, Mr. President, unless His Honor would like to add anything, I am ready to close my interpellation. I will simply repeat, just like His Honor has said that I have said, I will repeat my love and concern for the boxers of the Philippines, but not just professionals, but also amateurs and all the athletes of the Philippines. And my desire that as a member of the Senate, my request is that we all exercise our power to vote responsibly, because 150 million pesos or 100 million or even 50 million will go a long way in addressing various pre and pandemic needs that we have. I have already illustrated what health needs are unmet, what education needs. I did not give the figures, but I can provide that to anyone who needs that are unmet. My colleagues, you know all about it. The creation of a new office is an unnecessary expense at this time, but I would like to honor His Honor's desire to help the athletes whose sport he also loves by, number one, supporting his private fund, and I will ensure that these people on the floor contribute. I will ensure all of them contribute, especially the majority floor leader who's not listening. he will contribute double the amount, Mr. President, to the private fund that we will put up for the boxers. And since he's still not listening, times 3 na po ang kanyang contribution. Malapit na siyang ma-strike out, Mr. President. To end, I support that move for a privately funded commission. I regret that we cannot pass a bill without clear direction on the funding, because it would end up to be an unfunded bill, because DBM itself is not clear on the functions of this agency. But if we can start by amending GAB, and if to the extent necessary to also include funding for amateurs, perhaps one of our laws for amateur athletes involving the PSC, we are happy to initiate that, do the work with His Honor, and that can be a start. And then during the break, I offer my services. This representation humbly offers her services to see what else can be done. And then after the pandemic, maybe that's the time that we can revisit, because for the time being, GAB is doing its job. I have not heard on record that they have not been able to perform the duties assigned to them by law. And I have now the complete list. During the pandemic, they now registered 4 new sports: volleyball, chess, jet ski, and triathlon. So I think it is a disservice to the Filipino people that we will pull out funds for the creation of a new agency when we already have an existing agency that is doing its job well. I am ready to end my interpellation. I thank the good sponsor for his patience in indulging me with all my questions, enlightening me, and I hope that we can work together just as we have all worked together with previous bills in finding solutions. So thank you very much for that. On that note, I repeat, the commitment of the majority floor leader is times 3. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hey,
Please practice social distancing.
hey. After 12 rounds of sing.
Go to the scorecard.
Okay. We'd like to acknowledge Senator Ralph Recto. Senator Recto is on board. enjoying the debate. And Senator Bato also. And our colleagues.
Majority Leader, it's
Yes,
past 9
President.
o'clock.
We move to close the period of interpellation, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, period of the